Well, we are following the development of participatory governance practices in culture in the last 3 decades or 30 years in the European framework of culture, but we find it mostly in the spectre of culture, heritage and museology. And there, the participatory governance in culture basically strive to overcome certain alienation between the public resources in culture, namely cultural heritage, and the local communities. This has been transferred to the other parts of the culture sector and other cultural practices, mostly due to what Frank Fisher said, institutional voids of democratic erosions that are happening in the public aspect of cultural governance. So at the moment we are seeing a massive proliferation of participatory governance practices all throughout European cultural policies, namely ones that really connect civil society to the public authorities, and thus civil society colonizes or strives to colonize public authorities, making public authorities more open, more democratic, more sort of inclined towards citizen engagement. Some of the most interesting examples that we follow is the emergence of the new institutional formats, which are mostly sort of shaped in a social-cultural centres. Well, in Croatian example, what we are following in the last, again, 30 years since its independence are sort of simultaneous progressions and regressions of the cultural policy formats. So in that way, we are seeing still some sort of efforts from the public authorities to keep the public resources within the public realm or the public ownership. But at the same time, we are also following regressions in the changes of the culture policy formats in the line of governance. Or in other words, not enough of other actors, apart from the political and public authority actors, are involved in the governance structures. In this line, in the past 10 or 15 years, I would even say, we are following again, as I said, the emergence of social cultural centres, which are based on the so-called civil-public partnerships. What they actually entail is the civil society organisations creating alliances and taking over different sort of public spatial resources, and the accent in the Croatian experience is on the spatial resources, such as the resource that we are standing in now, which is Lazareti Heritage Complex in Dubrovnik, or the Pogon Institution in Zagreb, or the ex-military barracks in Pula, or the youth center in Split, etc. So what these alliances are trying to do is to take over these spatial resources and create partnership with public authorities, namely municipal or local public authorities, in creating new spaces for different social interactions around artistic and cultural creation. So the significance of the project, such as URBACT, is manifold. A, it puts an emphasis on the local environment and on the local context. And what we've been following, it is exactly this level, or the city or the municipal level, that is like the spring of the most exciting visions in the culture development in the contemporary times. Secondly, it puts an emphasis on the partnerships between different actors from the civil society and different actors from the public authority. Thus, projects like URBACT create a different sort of zone of mutual understanding and perspectives for the development of participatory governance in culture.